Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 36th Annual Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame Dinner and Induction Ceremony. We welcome you here tonight to the Convention Center. We have all our honorees, inductees, and I'd like to have you turn your attention to the back of the hall for our introduction of our special guests tonight. Each person that's being honored tonight will be escorted in by a member of a person from the Boys and Girls Club from the Greater Tennessee Valley. Our first award winner, Skylar Merrill, tonight is escorted in by Ariana Willis. Larry Cox by Mallory Lamb. Allie Dunn couldn't be with us tonight, but her father, Brad Dunn, is accepting, and Jaquez Campbell is the escort. Keandra McKinney, escorted by Antoine Burdine. T. Higgins couldn't be with us tonight. He's in camp, so his mother, Camilla Stewart's accepting, being escorted by Javon Bogus. Davis Shore. The father, Daniel Shore, is accepting tonight. Kawanesha Vinson is the escort. Luke Smith, escorted by Jasmine Bryan. Ott Defoe, escorted by Amia Brown. Eddie Courtney by Madeline Fox. Shelly Sexton Collier, escorted by Derek Willison. Todd Collins, escorted by Jerazia Jones. Rod Delmonico by Lamaya Truitt. Jim Haslam by Nadia Johnson. Don Marsh by Isaac Wilson. J.J. McCleskey by Renisha Gates. Rebecca O'Connor by Caleb Ford. George Quarles by Brooklyn Ballinger. Kevin Swider by Victoria Lee. And Buck Vaughn by Kylie Lamb. Before our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance tonight, we would like to honor the people who serve and who have served our country. If you're a member of our armed forces or a military veteran or a current or former member of our police force, would you please stand so we can recognize you and thank you? Thank you. And now for everybody else, we'd like to have you stand now for our invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. To deliver our invocation tonight, Layla Robinson, a member of the Boys and Girls Club who attends Christenberry Elementary School.
Please bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, I would like to thank you for my Boys and Girls Club and allowing me to be here today. I want to ask that you bless this food that we are going to receive for the nourishment of our bodies. We know that many are called, but only few are chosen. So thank you for all the amazing athletes and coaches being honored and all of their talents and gifts that they share. We thank you today and every day. Amen.
Thank you, Layla. To lead us in our pledge, Kaylin Chesney II, a member of the Boys and Girls Club, and she attends Beaumont School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You can be seated. Tonight's Hall of Fame event will recognize outstanding athletes and coaches and teams for their accomplishments. The true winners tonight, though, are the young people from the Boys and Girls Club of the Tennessee Valley who will benefit tonight from the proceeds. For 3.5 decades, this event has generated over $3 million for the programs at the Boys and Girls Club. To tell you about those programs and the impact this organization is making in our community on a daily basis, please welcome the president and CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Tennessee Valley, Bart McFadden.
Good evening. As Bob said, for 37 years, our organization has been proud to be affiliated with and benefit from this great event. Every inductee here tonight has been blessed with great talents and many gifts. But they've all had somebody along the way who's been by their side to help propel them forward, to help them reach their full potential. At Boys and Girls Clubs, our mission is to inspire and enable all young people, especially those that need us most, to reach their full potential as responsible, productive, and caring citizens. Every day in 15 clubs across our 4-county region, young people go into the Boys and Girls Club, and they are met there by those same caring type people that have helped the inductees tonight reach their full potential. Our staff are there each day providing opportunities to our young people that they wouldn't have otherwise, giving them expectations and accountability to ensure that they stay on the path to success. Our programming is designed to make sure that every child experiences success in the areas of academics, healthy lifestyles, good character, and citizenship. If we as a Boys and Girls Club organization are successful in carrying out our mission, our community will look a lot better because 8,300 kids this past year have gone through a Boys and Girls Club here in the Tennessee Valley. They are our future leaders, and they rely on you, the community around them, to give them those opportunities, to support the work we do, to make sure that they have somebody in their life to show them they care about them and to make sure that their success matters. To take a look at what we do, we're going to show a brief video here in a minute. But at the same time, if you feel compelled tonight to support the work we do at Boys and Girls Clubs, there are pledge cards on each table. We would invite you, if you feel so led, to complete that pledge card and turn it into the registration table before you leave tonight. Thank you all so much. Young people in Knoxville's lives are better because of you, and we thank you for your support.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
In God and the right to worship
according to my own faith
and religion.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
In America.
In the American way of life.
The Constitution.
In the Bill of Rights.
I believe.
I believe.
In fair play.
Honesty.
And sportsmanship.
I believe.
I believe.
In my Boys and Girls Club.
My Boys and Girls Club.
My Boys and Girls Club.
which stands for all these things.
Great futures start here. The Boys and Girls Clubs of the Tennessee Valley, serving more than 8,000 kids at clubs across Knox, Blount, Loudoun, and Anderson counties. When school's out, the clubs are in, after school and all day in the summer, the times they're needed most, fostering accomplishment well beyond the basketball court and swimming pool, through programs promoting academic success, healthy lifestyles, and good character and citizenship.
The Boys and Girls Club has taught me a lot throughout my life, how to be a positive person, a leader, help kids.
I've learned to treat people with respect.
I learned that sharing with others is a nice thing.
I've learned that you're supposed to have a good sportsmanship and you don't always get your way.
When I do my homework here, it helps me be a better student in school, because when I go home, I just forget about my homework and not do it.
I've learned that kindness is the best way to live life, because when you be kind to other people, the kindness comes back to you.
There are many doors that open for kids, but these doors transform. Inside is a place of hope and opportunity. The Boys and Girls Clubs strive to improve the overall health of members through daily physical activity and teaching them good nutrition. Club kids get healthy meals and snacks every day.
If you don't get fed at home, when I come here, we get dinner and snack every day.
I like coming to the Boys and Girls Club and playing with my friends and not just staying home doing nothing all day long.
I like to play outside and go to small gym.
My favorite thing about the Boys and Girls Club is the fact that we're a family and we bond.
We all just have a place to come together. Like, it's not a lot of places teenagers can really go and just like hang out and have fun. And this is a place where we can have fun in the right way.
I like that there aren't a lot of people that are mean, and I like that the staff actually listen to you.
They hired a tutor that's kind of like one of my best adult friends, and he's really nice. He like helps me like math and stuff.
They can help you with all your homework, tutoring, and just a lot of stuff that you need help with during school.
Opened in Knoxville in 1943, the Boys and Girls Club has continually grown. The addition of the Regal Teen Center in 2016 provides a new state-of-the-art facility for students in grades 6 through 12. Teens learn critical employment skills through the Youth Force Development Program, as well as academic enrichment and college preparation.
After I went through the Youth Force training, after they taught me the interviewing skills I needed, I got an internship at Chihawi Park.
In middle school, I got the chance, because of the Boys and Girls Club, to go to my first college tour. I got to see kind of what college life was like, how it would be, and it opened my eyes to kind of what I wanted to do in the future.
The Boys and Girls Clubs of the Tennessee Valley, building character, creating leaders, and ensuring young people find their passion to achieve their full potential.
I believe in the Boys and Girls Club. From the first time I took a tour of the club, I was amazed at what this club stands for. I was amazed at the statistics that a club kid is 2 times more likely to graduate high school and go on to post-secondary education. I was amazed at seeing at-risk children who were struggling in school were now passing courses. And children were getting warm meals each day. And that's why I became a board member. But after I became a board member, I saw the human element of these children. And when I walked in the club, I looked into their eyes. And in these eyes, I saw them laughing, but I knew they were hurting. I saw children angry, but I knew they were tired because they shared a bed with 3 other kids. I knew they were scared because they have seen or experienced things they should never experience in this world. But I saw they were determined. And I knew this club was onto something, and it was going to be a success. These children are now reaching, believing in themselves, growing, learning, and they're going to make something of themselves. And they didn't give up on themselves, and we didn't give up on them. And whatever safety and security that they felt within these walls, now they're going to flourish. And when they leave outside these doors, I know they're going to do well. That's why I believe in the Boys and Girls Club, and I hope you join me.
Making a difference every single day in our community. We hope you support the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Tennessee Valley. Enjoy your dinner. We will start our program in just a few minutes. Good evening again, everybody, and welcome to the 36th Annual Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame Dinner and Induction Ceremony. Each year, this event has grown as we continue to honor and salute outstanding individuals who have excelled in sports in our community. And tonight we honor an outstanding group in this Hall of Fame class featuring local football players who have reached the highest level on and off the field, coaches who have led their teams to championships and greatness while leaving an impact on their players on and off the field, a hockey player who shattered records and led his team to championships, athletes who used their individual will and determination to win championships. We'll hear great stories tonight about remarkable people in all kinds of different sports who have all had the same goal, and that is to be the very, very best they can be. So we are glad you're with us tonight. We think it's going to be a very special evening. So let's get on with our awards tonight. The first one we'll give out is the Will McCamey Spirit Award. Rocky Good from our Board of Directors of the Hall of Fame will assist in the presentations tonight. And to tell you about this award and to recognize this year's winner, please welcome from Sports Radio WNML, Jimmy Himes.
The Will McCamey Spirit Award goes to Skylar Merrill. A tragic situation, but back in February of 2016, Skylar's older brother Austin and his younger brother Andy were killed in a single car accident when a strong gust of wind ended up pushing the family's Chevrolet Blazer across a blind hill on East Emory Road. And this head-on collision into a concrete culvert caused the damage. Skylar and his best friend Clay Church were actually severely injured in the accident. And then it was tough on Skylar. He had the decision as he struggled to cope with the loss of his brothers and the healing from internal injuries of whether or not to play football again. He was persuaded to do so, and not only did he play, but he pushed himself to the point where he helped Gibbs end up playing in the 2016 season through its run to the Region 2 5A Championship. And the Will McCamey Spirit Award honors Skylar. Will McCamey, by the way, played at Grace Christian. He was a graduate who died in 2014 after collapsing during a football practice at the U.S. Naval Academy. McCamey was also known for his perseverance to return to the game as well as his faith in God. The Will McCamey Spirit Award to Skylar Merrill. Our special recognition award goes to Larry Cox. Larry Cox has served on the selection committee for the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame for a number of years. And Larry has lived a life of community service to North Knoxville community. He calls it home, and to the city of Knoxville. He has served on the Knoxville City Council for 20 years. He has served the Boys and Girls Club. He has served as a field representative for U.S. Representative John Duncan since 2004. And his fingerprints are all over projects that have contributed to the area's growth and development. He's a 1960 graduate of Fulton High School. In 2016, he was honored by Cumberland University as its recipient of the 2016 Distinguished Alumni Award in recognition of distinguished contributions to society and accomplishments that have brought credit to the university. In 2003, the Knoxville City Council named the North Knoxville Recreation Center the Larry Cox Recreation Center in honor of his 20 years of dedication. And then in 2013, he was honored by the MTSU National Alumni Association as the recipient of the 2013-14 Distinguished Alumni Award for service to the community, and by the City of Knoxville, Knox County Parks and Recreation with the 2013 Volunteer Commissioner Award. In 2019, he was inducted into the Fulton High School Alumni Association inaugural Football High School Wall of Fame. The special recognition award goes to Larry Cox.
Each year, the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame recognizes outstanding high school athletes from this past year. To announce our winners this year, award-winning sports announcer with ESPN and ABC and a member of our Hall of Fame board, please welcome Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, Bob, and good evening, everyone. These are some amazing high school athletes, a male and female, that we're going to recognize tonight. Unfortunately, a few of them couldn't be here. They'll have parents standing in to accept the awards on their behalf. First up, from Grace Christian Academy, Allie Dunn. Allie Dunn's father will be accepting on her behalf, but as a girls soccer player, Allie Dunn stands alone in the state record books with a storied career on the soccer field that saw her dominate the sport. By scoring 4 goals in the team's 7-0 victory over Gatlinburg-Pittman in the 2016 District 3A AA semifinals, she upped her season total to a record-breaking 69 goals. Dunn's record-breaking goal came in the 45th minute. She had scored 3 goals in the first half. With Dunn leading the way, Grace set a school record for victories, 21-2, won its first region title, and qualified for the state tournament for the first time. She was a 4-time All-District and All-Region selection, and she was Region Defensive Player of the Year. Not only was she impressive on the field, but folks, off the field, she carried a 3.45 GPA, and get this, she scored 33 on the ACT. She will attend the University of Arkansas, again from Grace Christian Academy. Allie Dunn accepting is her father, Brad. Next up, from Fulton High School, Keandra McKinney. In her senior season, McKinney led the Fulton High School Falcons to the state tournament with 27 wins and averaged a double-double, scoring more than 16 points, 12 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 blocks per game. In the 2017 TSSAA state tournament in Murfreesboro, she averaged 21 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists. That's impressive, young lady. She was a 3-time All-State honoree, 4-time All-Prep Extra honoree, 4-time All-District Player of the Year, 4-time All-Region Tournament Team Selection, 2-time District Player of the Year, a 2017 McDonald's All-American nominee, and finally the 2017 KIL Player of the Year. She said that her skill may involve basketball, but she also says she has a passion for bettering the lives of those around her, in her community, and around the world. That's her mission. She will play collegiately at the University of Kentucky. How about a nice round of applause from Fulton High School, Keandra McKinney. Next up, from Oak Ridge High School, T. Higgins. His mother, Carmilla Stewart, is here to accept on his behalf. Well, T. Higgins did it all for the Oak Ridge Wildcats during his prep career on the gridiron and on the basketball court, displaying his athletic talents and leading the Wildcats to the playoffs in football and the state semifinals in basketball his senior season. He made things rough on opposing defenses whenever he had the ball in his hands. He was voted Athlete of the Year and Player of the Year by Prep Extra. He repeated as Class 5A Mr. Football Back of the Year. He was the highest-rated signee in Clemson's 2017 class, according to ESPN, Scout, and 247 Sports, and was rated the number 15 prospect in the nation by Rivals and the number 2 wide receiver in the nation. He and Amari Rogers of Knoxville Catholic High School teamed up in the Under Armour All-American game in Orlando, Florida this year. That game, in its 10th installment, featured 115 of the nation's premier senior high school football players. Again, ladies and gentlemen, from Oak Ridge High School, T. Higgins with his mom, Carmilla Stewart, accepting. Next up, from CAK, Davis Shore. And Davis's father, Daniel, will be here to accept on his behalf. Davis Shore is a 2017 graduate of Christian Academy of Knoxville, who will attend the University of Alabama this fall as a member of the men's golf team. Davis was the Knoxville News Sentinel's Prep Extra Golfer of the Year in 2015 and 16 and was the Tennessee Golf Association Harold Eller Junior Amateur Player of the Year for 3 years in a row. He was a member of the victorious United States Junior Ryder Cup team in September of 2016. He was the boys TSSAA state champion for Class AAA in 2014 and 2015. He was the USA Today Family Insurance High School Golfer of the Year in 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, from CAK, Davis Shore, with his father Daniel accepting. Next up from Knoxville Catholic High School is Luke Smith. Knoxville native Luke Smith finished his senior season at Knoxville Catholic High School, helping lead the Irish to a 31-2 overall record and a 2AA state runner-up finish. The Irish were the regular season and district tournament champion, region tournament champions, and sub-state champions. Luke was a Mr. Basketball finalist, tabbed All-State, and named KIL and Prep Extra Player of the Year. Luke graduated in the top 10% of his class at Catholic and was a part of the National Honor Society. At Catholic, he was a 4-year starter. His freshman year, the Irish went 9-20, yet he was named District 4AA Newcomer of the Year. The Irish greatly improved the next season, earning a 20-9 mark, Luke being named KIL Sophomore of the Year. In his junior season, the team posted a 24-5 mark, and Luke was a first-team All-Prep Extra and first-team All-KIL selection. After his senior season was in the books, Luke was heavily recruited by Swanee, Davidson, UAB, Lee, Swarthmore, and a host of other schools. He has ultimately chosen to go to college at Swanee and play basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, from Knoxville Catholic High School, Luke Smith. How about a nice round of applause for our male and female athletes of the year here? Next up is the Chad Pennington Professional Athlete of the Year Award. And this year it goes to Arthur F. Ott Defoe. Ott Defoe was born on September 17, 1985 in Knoxville. When he was 9 years old, he took a trip to Okeechobee, Florida, and that's where his love for bass fishing began. He was hooked, so to speak, from that point on, and although success was not immediately imminent. He fished his first tournament with his dad when he was 9 years old, and they didn't catch a single fish. And it took over 2 years of fishing local tournaments before they ever got their first check. When I turned 12, he joined the East Tennessee Bass Anglers Club. It was there he learned most of the skills he uses today. He fished his way up the FLW Tour and qualified for several FLW Cups. Defoe won the 2014 Bassmaster Northern Open and notched his first Elite Series victory on the Mississippi River in 2016. In 2014, Ott won the Bassmaster Northern Open on Douglas Lake, and early in the year, he finished fourth in the Bassmaster Classic at Guntersville, Alabama. He won the 2011 Bassmaster Rookie of the Year Award, finished fourth in points, and ended the season by winning the Toyota Trucks All-Star Week. Now, he lives here in Knoxville with his wife, Jenny, daughter, Abby, and twins, Parker and Elizabeth. And from 2013 to 15, he hosted a charity event for Goodwill and the Mountain Music Kids event, and does an auction each fall to help raise funds and awareness for those needs. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chad Pennington Professional Athlete of the Year Award goes to Ott Defoe.
Thank you, Doc Punch. Our next award is the Pat Summit Ignite Greatness Award. Pat Summit established a tradition of winning and excellence at Tennessee. 8 national championships, over 1,000 wins, and every one of her players earned their college degree. Each year, the Hall of Fame honors a person who uses those championship traits of Coach Summit on and off the field to ignite greatness in the people they touch in their lives. Tonight's Pat Summit Ignite Greatness Award winner goes to Farragut High School football coach Eddie Courtney. Coach Courtney led the Admirals to their first state championship with a victory over the defending state champion Independence, and did it in dramatic style. Down 35-7, the Admirals scored 28 unanswered points, came back to win at 45-35, snapping Independence' 29-game winning streak. Farragut needed another remarkable comeback just to get to the championship game. Down by 28 in the third quarter, the Admirals rallied for a 56-49 double overtime victory. Coach Courtney is Farragut through and through. He joined Coach Sparks' staff at Farragut in 1977, then went away for a couple of years, but he returned to Farragut in 1983 and was named head coach in 1996. Coach Courtney is the winningest coach in Farragut history, and he's led the Admirals to the playoffs 14 times. This year, they won it all. Eddie is also a 12-year cancer survivor. His public fight with the disease has been an inspiration to his players, his friends, the people of Farragut, and all of East Tennessee. The winner of this year's Pat Summit Ignite Greatness Award, Farragut head football coach Eddie Courtney.
I hope you'll let me have about 2 minutes of your time. As a coach, this is a tremendous for Pat Head Summit, and I always call her coach, ladies. So in 1997, she gave me the opportunity to come over to her office and say, we had coach-to-coach talk. And I asked her some things, and she's blunt, as you know, she'll tell you exactly what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So I took that, and I wrote these things. There are 8 things I wrote down. Those things I've got in my office and had them, and these are coach-to-coach talk. The first thing she said was work harder than anyone else. You work harder than your assistants, you work harder than your players, then you'll certainly work harder than your opponents. You girls understand that. She set a standard. When we talked, we found out that I'll never say I'm any kind of Coach Summit, but I learned from her. We were 1 year in difference in age. Our fathers were strong figures in our life. Her father was a farmer, taught her the work ethic to do. My father was a brick mason, taught me the blue-collar ethic, work habits. We had mothers that loved us, taught us how to be humble, taught us how to care for other people and be concerned about others. So our conversation started off kind of understanding where this went. The second thing she said was, fight for, sell, and promote your program every day, and don't let someone else dictate what you do with it. And I thought that was very important. And what she meant by that is, you have a plan for what you have to do. Don't worry about things you really can't do, and spend your time controlling the things that you know you believe in. The third thing she said to me was, teach the fundamentals and skills of the game. That's the most important thing you could do, and you demand perfection. And what I wrote down after that, she said, either you do it or you don't. There's no in between. So either you did it today at practice or you didn't do it. The fourth thing she said to me was, do not tolerate distractions or compromise of your core values, what you really believe in. If you surround yourself with the right people, then you'll have loyalty, and they'll understand what it takes to be successful. The fifth thing she said to me was discipline. This will separate you from most others. Be consistent. Every day the message must be the same every way. The next thing she said to me was, know your staff, know your players, know everybody in your building, know things about them, because you're going to be developing lifelong relationships. You ladies, when I watched you all out there earlier in the lobby, that's a carryover. All the championships, all the wins, but just seeing how you all have interacted, that's a part of her. Her legacy will continue because that will be passed to you, to others, and that's what is the most important thing, as a coach, to see your players carry on. The seventh thing she said was team, team, team. That's the most important thing. You have a role to play, and the only thing ever changes that role is if you earn the right to change it. And that's the most important. The next thing she said, and the last thing was, don't look back, always look forward, look side to side, because the pie doesn't matter anymore. If you do that, you'll keep that competitive drive. These 8 things for the last 20 some odd years have allowed me to continue to do something that I've wanted to do for 40 years. Be at the same place, like she was at the same place, just being able to survive in a day so competitive and an age where we need so much great leadership. I'd like to thank my family because they've sacrificed for 40 years to let me give the time to so many other people. I thank the Greater Knoxville Hall of Fame. I thank you so much. This means so much to me. May God bless you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. 36 years ago, Buck Vaughn had an idea about celebrating great athletes and great accomplishments in our city. So he sought out some sponsors. He got Pilot Oil and Jim Haslam, and he got Cherokee Distributing Company and George Sampson, and suddenly the Hall of Fame became a reality. Buck Vaughn has been the moving force behind this Hall of Fame, and tonight it is our honor to award the first ever Emmett Buck Vaughn Legacy Award to remember and celebrate sports in our community. Folks, let's thank Buck Vaughn for his vision and his hard work all these years. Buck? So Buck is going to be able to hand out his award tonight. And it goes to a team that really gave us a lot of joy and a lot of thrills. The 1987 national champion Tennessee Lady Vols, Pat Summitt's first national championship team. Pat Summitt wasn't an instant success at Tennessee winning championships. 7 times in the 70s and 80s, she had taken teams to the Final Four without winning a championship. And her Lady Vols weren't the favorites when they headed to Austin, Texas in 1987. They advanced to the Final Four by beating Auburn in the regional finals 77-61. This avenged a loss to Auburn in the SEC tournament. Tennessee faced the highest scoring team in the semifinals in the Final Four, Long Beach State. They were 33-3. Lady Vols pulled off the upset that night. They beat them 74-64, and they advanced to the national championship game to face their longtime rival, Louisiana Tech, a Tech team that had beaten Tennessee by 12 points during the regular season. But that championship game was no contest. A balanced attack and great defense and great rebounding helped the Lady Vols beat Tech 67-44 to win the championship. This was a team effort. 12 players. They averaged 10 minutes or more per game. Everybody contributed. No All-Americans. Everyone knew their job. There were no gaudy stats. It was just consistency, hard work, rebounding, and defense. On the 30th anniversary of this national championship, the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame is thrilled to honor the team, and members of that championship team are with us tonight. They are the point guard. She led the team in assists, Don Marsh. She's behind you, Buck. Kathy Spinks. The only player to start every single game, and the captain, guard Shelley Sexton. She's behind you, Buck. Behind you. Carla McGee. The leading scorer and the leading rebounder on the team, Bridget Gordon. You good? The Final Four MVP, Tanya Edwards. Lisa Webb. Melissa McCrae, her daughter Stephanie Dukes is here tonight to represent her mother. Stephanie? Sabrina, go ahead. Give her a round of applause. Sabrina Mott. Cheryl Littlejohn. Carla Horton. Hi, sweetie. I'll hug your neck later. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Emmett Buckvaughn Legacy Award. Let's congratulate the 1987 national champion Tennessee Lady Vols. Not done. Speaking on behalf of the team accepting the award is the captain, Shelley Sexton Collier. We have a slight delay. She forgot her notes. We'll be with you in just a second.
You know, Bob, just want to say thank you for, or should I call you Buckeye? Because that's what we called him, Buckeye. For all these years of supporting the Lady Vols. I remember like it was the other day that we were playing at Mississippi State, and we were running up and down the court playing. You could actually hear Bob Kessling doing play-by-play because there was about 50 to 100 people, just a handful of people there watching the game. Man, has it come a long way. Coaches and the lives they touch, the young people they influence doesn't just score points and win games. They are the influence and the power that inspires us to become more than we thought we could be. They help us not only compete on the court, but to compete in life. It has been said that a coach will impact more young people in a year than an average person does in a lifetime. A coach's worth isn't found in their win-loss record, although Pat's record was pretty good, or on their resume, but in the impact they made on the game and the lives of the players. Pat was our coach, our mentor, and our friend, and what an impact she had on the game of basketball and in us, her players. I sure wish she was here tonight. We sure do miss her. I wish our beloved teammate, Melissa McCrae Dukes, could be here too, but we are so happy to have Stephanie here with us tonight on stage. What a great leader your mom was. I would also like to recognize our coaches on that team. Holly Warlick, will you please stand up? Mickey DeMoss is not here, but Holly and Mickey have touched our lives more than they'll ever know. And they helped us to become the women, just as Pat did, that we are today. So thank you, Coach Warlick. We love you. I think Debbie Jennings also was our media director, and Joan Cronin, I don't know if she's here, was our athletic director. But anybody that was a part of our team, and even those that aren't here, are all special, and we're very close to every one of you all, and we really appreciate the love and the way that you guys influenced us as well and support us. It is truly my honor, and I am very humbled to be speaking on behalf of the 1987 National Championship team. We are all excited that you chose us to be part of Thanks for the Memories. We are happy to be here tonight to celebrate all of those being inducted into the Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame and would like to congratulate each of you. A special thank you to Mr. Buck Vaughn for all that you have done to support the Boys and Girls Club and to help make this event happen. This is the first award in your honor and in your legacy. I would also like to thank all of those who work with the Boys and Girls Club every day to make a difference in the lives of young people. You truly inspire us all. And we were especially excited for one of our own teammates, Dawn Marsh, better known to us as Fat Dog. Stay right here. We are so proud of you, Dawn. And tonight is just, we're going to continue it even after we leave here, telling stories. This whole group up here, y'all have no idea the stories we can tell. Dawn is an official now, and I'm a coach, so we don't really get along. She called my first foul on my daughter's collegiate career. She called her first foul. Anyway. Love you, Dawn. I'm honored to be sitting by you. So what was it like winning a national championship? It was awesome. We are so very, very special to have the opportunity to win that championship. And it grows sweeter with the time that passes. And we realize how truly blessed by God to have had this experience. But it wasn't just about winning a championship. It was about who we were experiencing it with. I love my teammates, and I'm thankful for each one of them. I remember it as if it were yesterday, the elevator door opening in Austin, Texas, and Pat standing there, and my teammate, Carla Horton, looking at Pat straight in the eye and saying, "We are on a mission." I recall the chill bumps I had as I felt exactly the same way. We knew we were going to win. We were certainly not the most talented team that year, or the best team, as we lost a number of games. We didn't even make it to the finals of the SEC tournament. We had to sit there and scout everybody because we lost out early. That was the only time in the 4 years I'd been there that we hadn't made it, that we hadn't won it. We even lost to Vanderbilt on their home court for the first time, and trust me, that was not a good thing. We were definitely punished for that loss. But it was no mistake that we won a national championship. Our team had something extra special. We had all the intangibles that great teams have. We were battle-tested. We were mentally tough. We took on our coach's personality. We wanted to win for something bigger than ourselves. We bought into Pat's culture of putting the team before ourselves, and we became one. We knew our roles, and we played them. Our coaching staff, Pat, Mickey, and Holly, were amazing as they had us prepared and ready to play every game. We prepared for each opponent like no one else did. And chemistry, we had it. We were unselfish, and we wanted it for Pat to get the monkey off her back and for all the other players that were there before us. Pat said, offense sells the tickets, defense wins games, and rebounds win championships. Our post players, because of our physical play and rebounding skills, became known as the corn-fed chicks. That would be Carla and Bridget and Little John, Lisa, Kathy Spinks. Oh, yeah, I'm not forgetting you. Y'all that lady from Long Beach State, Cindy Brown, she termed you all that, but y'all made her look like a string bean. Our team averaged over 40 rebounds, as Bob mentioned, and if you know anything about basketball, that's a lot of rebounds. Long Beach State averaged 97 points a game without a three-point line, and we held them to 67 points in the semifinal game. In the championship game versus La Tech, we knew their offense inside and out and were in their spots yelling out their plays before they could even know what was going on. In our 20-year reunion, all of the members of our team were present. In our 30 years together, most of us are still here. We struggled together, we fought together, we laughed together, we cried together, we prayed together, and we have stayed together. That's what teammates do. And there's nothing like teammates. I want to thank you again on behalf of all of us who were part of this 1987 National Championship, coaches, players, managers, all of us. We are so happy that you brought us together again. And as the tournament MVP, freshman Tanya Edwards said to the Lady Vols at one of our gatherings, she said to the ones that had already won the championship after us and the ones to come, y'all can say what y'all want to, but we will always be the first. Thank you.
Let's hear it for the 87 Lady Vols again. Special group. Special. And I guess we also need to welcome back Bridget Gordon. As you know, she's now a member of Holly Warlick's staff. So, Bridget, it's great to have you back wearing orange. Each year, of course, we add members to the Hall of Fame here in Knoxville. There are a bunch of those former or members of the Hall of Fame that have been inducted in previous years. They're with us tonight. If we could turn the lights up. If you're a member of the Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame, would you please stand so we can recognize you? If you're a member of the Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you. Great to have you here tonight. Sadly, we have lost some members of the Hall of Fame this past year. We'd like to recognize those folks we lost, and there were some great ones. Ben Bird, legendary sports writer and journalist in Knoxville. After serving in the military, Ben returned to Knoxville in 1947 and went to work as a sports writer for the Knoxville Journal and wrote for the paper until 1991. During his colorful career, he covered all the major sports, from the Kentucky Derby to the Olympics, the Masters, and the U.S. Open, as well as University of Tennessee athletics. His daily bird's eye view was a must-read in the Journal sports page. Inducted into the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame in 1987. He passed away this year at the age of 91, Ben Bird. Raleigh Wynn, longtime Knoxville educator and coach. He was a science and physical education teacher at numerous schools in the area. Played football at Austin High School and went to Clark College in Atlanta. He served in World War II, earning a Purple Heart in the Battle of the Bulge. After the war, he attended Tennessee State and got his master's from UT. Then began his coaching career in Mississippi, but he returned to Knoxville to teach and coach. He was named the head coach of the all-white East High School when it merged with the all-black Austin High School. Big Win, as he was called, also became an assistant principal at AE. Told his students and players, it's not where you live, it's how you live. It's not where you come from, it's where you're going. Inducted into the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame in 1988, Raleigh Wynn died this past May at the age of 93. Bill Anderson, outstanding wingback and end at Tennessee from 1955 through 57. The 56 team won the SEC championship, finished 10-0. Bill was co-captain of the 1957 Tennessee team, went on to play in the NFL, first with the Washington Redskins and later the Green Bay Packers. He was a member of the Packer team that played in and won the very first Super Bowl. Bill returned to Knoxville and coached briefly at Tennessee. That he opened his own successful insurance agency. In 1968, he teamed with John Ward and for the next 31 years as the color analyst on the Vol Network broadcasts. His final broadcast was in 1998, the national championship game against Florida State. Bill was inducted into the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame in 1991. Louis Royal began his career playing tennis at the age of 9. For the next 4 decades, he traveled the world playing and winning tennis tournaments. As a youngster, he was ranked second in the 15 and under category in the South. 3 times he won the city championship. 3 times he won the state championship and the Southern championship in 1979. Played at Tennessee and later came back to coach the Vol tennis program, winning 2 SEC titles. He coached 2 All-American players. He was the first tennis pro at the Knoxville Racquet Club and later the pro at Cherokee Country Club, inducted into the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame in 1996, Louis Royal. Ken Sparks, one of the winningest coaches in the history of college football. He won 5 national championships coaching his alma mater, Carson Newman. Ken is 5th all-time in the history of college football at any level with 338 wins. He won 77% of his games. The Eagles made the postseason playoff 25 of his 37 seasons. The National Coach of the Year in '84, he was the South Atlantic Coach of the Year 12 times. Ken had many chances to leave for bigger schools, but he elected to stay at Carson Newman because he felt he could impact the lives on the field and with his faith. Diagnosed with cancer in 2012, he continued to coach until the very end. A member of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, the NAIA Hall of Fame, among many honors, he received the Fellowship of Christian Athletes Lifetime Achievement Award in 2001. He was inducted into the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame in 2001, and he passed away this year at the age of 73. And Holland Phillips, one of the greatest boxers in the history of East Tennessee, won 6 straight Knoxville Golden Gloves titles back from 58 to 63. He began his boxing career at the age of 12 at the Knoxville YMCA. While in the Army, he won the Golden Gloves welterweight title. He also won the Southern Golden Gloves welterweight title in Nashville and advanced to box in the National Golden Gloves tournament in Chicago. Graduate of Carter High School, he returned when his boxing days were over to referee and judge boxing events and coach Little League baseball and football. Inducted into the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame in 2013, Holland Phillips. If you would, for a moment, let's just bow our heads and have a moment of silence for these great people we lost this past year. Thank you very much. Again, tonight we'd like to thank the founding sponsors of this event, Pilot Flying J and Jim Haslam, Cherokee Distributing Company and George Burton Sampson, our platinum sponsor, Humana and Doug Holland, our speaker sponsors, Weingartner Charities and Dean Weingartner, our media sponsors tonight, the Knoxville News Sentinel, WBIR TV, Channel 10, and Sports Radio WNML. We don't have time to thank everybody, but they're in your program. If you'd please look at those people and thank them, because they're the ones that make all of this possible with their sponsorship and the money they give to the Knoxville Boys and Girls Clubs of the Greater Tennessee Valley. Our guest speaker tonight is Inky Johnson. We all remember Inky as a member of the Tennessee football team. His career was cut way too short by injury. But he's turned that injury into inspiration. And to tell his story, please look to the video monitors.
Born to a mother at 16 years old, to a 2-bedroom home. Used to sleep on the floor. At the age of 7 years old, you discovered your dream. You wanted to become an NFL player. You used to get up with your father on Saturday mornings at 5:30 and used to run miles and miles. The first game of your sophomore season, you tore the ligaments. You was out for your junior year. You broke your clavicle the first game. Out for the season. College scouts would come in to see you and they would say, man, you are extremely talented. We just don't know if you're going to make it out of high school, let alone college. He said, son, there is no way that you will make it. Coach Philip Foreman from the University of Tennessee came into Krim High School. I want to offer you a scholarship to go to the University of Tennessee. He said, Coach, I'm coming. The reporter was making a beeline. Inky Johnson, do you even think you're going to play at the University of Tennessee? I'm going to start at the University of Tennessee. You played a little bit your freshman sophomore season came. You broke the starting line. You got as strong as you had ever been. More of a student of the game. Got the bench press 315 pounds. You call your grandmother, you call your mother. You said, after this year, our lives are about to change forever. Second game, you guys are playing against Air Force. You guys found yourselves in the dogfight. Fourth quarter, Air Force had just went down onside, kicking the ball, dropped. Air Force recovered. You guys broke the huddle. You called quarters cover. Running back slips out of the backfield. Man's coming down your side. Quarterback released the ball to the running back. Running back catches it.
Got the pass caught.
Stop. I'm standing between you and the rest of your life. Where do your strength come from? Where do your drive come from? Where do your motivation come from? Where do your perseverance come from? Everything that you've ever been through, everything that you've ever faced, you've had the ability to overcome. You've had the ability to persevere. Everybody that ever made a sacrifice for you in your life, everybody that ever believed in you, everybody that ever gave you an opportunity in your life, you can't let them down. And I can't stop you. I can't stop you. Even if I wanted to, I can't stop you because you're about to get stronger.
Carney back. Got the pass caught. Well, we got a Tennessee player. It's Inky Johnson who's down.
People ask you all the time if you can go back to September 9th, 2006, that game against Air Force, and you can stop that moment, or you cannot play in that game, or you knew this situation was about to happen, would you change it? I can't stop this moment because of the people that believed in you and the people that sacrificed so much for you, and the people that saw something in you when you couldn't see it in yourself. To your grandmother, to your mother, to your mentor, to your father, to your family members, to your friends, to the people that looked to you and were inspired and were encouraged and were motivated. You had overcame so much. And by doing that, it gave so many other people strength. So I don't want you to deal with the disappointment of thinking that you disappointed them because your dream has left. I can't change it because of what's about to happen. But even if I could, I wouldn't. Good evening. You gotta wake up. Good evening. Let's try this again. You know, first and foremost, I want to express my gratitude to the Boys and Girls Club leadership. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity. I'm a club kid, you know, from Atlanta. I attended Carver Eastside Boys and Girls Club. It was right up the street from my house, and so the Boys and Girls Club mean a lot to me. But second, I want to say to the recipients and to the inductees, it's an extreme pleasure and honor to share the stage with you all, with the work that you've done and what you represent. I think is incredible. Can we give them another hand, please? You know, every time I watch that video, I love to tell the backstory of how it manifested. You know, one day I was in Atlanta and I was doing some work up under a bridge with a homeless gentleman. And me and my wife, we've adopted 3 homeless shelters in Atlanta, and so at any given moment, you can catch me on the bridge, you can catch me on a corner, doing different work. And I was with this homeless gentleman and my phone rang. And it was a Connecticut area code. And so I said to myself, I'll just let it ring out because I didn't know anybody from Connecticut. And I had somebody with me that said, Ink, you may want to answer that. And I said, for what? I don't know anybody from Connecticut. They said, ESPN, duh. I said, I don't know anybody from ESPN. I said, but I'll give it a shot. And I answered the phone, and the guy said, Inky Johnson, Jose Morales, ESPN producer. I said, oh, you was on to something. The guy said, is this Inky Johnson? I said, yeah, last time I checked, I'm Inky Johnson. He said, is this the same guy that said if you could change what happened to you, your injury, you wouldn't? I said, I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world. He said, it's our understanding at ESPN that the game of football meant the world to you at one point in your life. I said, yeah, at one point it did. He said, what are you doing right now? I said, I'm under a bridge with the homeless gentleman. He said, so you mean to tell me if you could be in the NFL making millions of dollars, you wouldn't change that? I said, I wouldn't change it for nothing. He said, I'm coming to see you. I said, come on, I'm in Atlanta. He said, no, I don't want to see you in Atlanta. I want to see you in Neyland Stadium on the exact yard line where you almost lost your life, and I want you to tell me that. I said, okay, I'll meet you in Neyland. So I meet him in Neyland. He walks in, and he makes the camera crew hang back, and he walks over to me, and he says to me, Inky, I want you to understand something. He said, I'm not here because of your story. At ESPN, we see stories all the time. I said, cool. I said, well, why are you here? He said, I'm here because we can't understand your perspective. He said, we can't understand how something that so many people consider to be a tragedy, something that so many people consider to be opposition and adversity, that should have crushed you. For some strange reason, you don't view it that way. And I'm dealing with some problems in my personal life with my family, my wife and my daughters. I'm going through some things. And he said, I just can't wrap the right perspective around it. And he said, I just want to understand, why do you view your situation the way that you do? And I said, it will probably be impossible for you to look at my situation the way that I do, because you didn't get dealt my situation. I said, but this is the one thing that I can tell you. I live my life with a greater purpose than just myself. And so anytime I hit opposition, adversity, or challenge, I will always get through it, because my purpose and my mission for living serves a greater purpose and mission than the adversity and the opposition. And so my perspective about it will always be different. I had an encounter with a gentleman when I was 7 years old, and it shaped the trajectory of my life. I'll never forget growing up on the east side of Atlanta in a 2-bedroom home with 14 people. And I'm sleeping on the same piece of the cover every night, 3 pallets, me and my cousins. Playing tackle football in the street, had dreams like everybody else to make it to this thing called the NFL. If I could just make it to the NFL, man, my mother can get off the double shift at Wendy's. My family can be straight. I'll never have to miss another meal again as a kid. If I could just make it to the NFL, and I'm in the street playing tackle football, and I'm bleeding. And we knew every night when the street lights came on, we had about 10 minutes before we had to go in the house. And the street lights pop on, and the blue pickup truck comes riding down the street. And me and my cousins, we back out of the street to let this truck go by, and this truck passes us slightly, and he parks on the sidewalk, and out of this truck gets the first white guy we had ever saw in our neighborhood. Immediately, every drug dealer, they take off running. They think he's the cops, right? This guy happened to be the nicest guy in the world. If that guy called me today and said, Inky, I need you to come up to Gatlinburg and fight a bear for me, I'm going to say, where you at? Let's go get him. He means that much to me. And he walked up in between our game, and I'll never forget, he said, hey, man, would y'all like to play football on grass? I said, man, I would love that. Where you been, brother? The street getting rough. He said, go in the house and get your guardian. I ran in the house. My Uncle JJ was there. I said, hey, Uncle, will you please come and talk to this gentleman? My uncle said, sure. My uncle walked outside. The guy extended his hand. He said, hey, man, my name is Trey Hurst. He said, I don't even supposed to be over here. He said, I dropped the kid home 3 blocks up. He said, I rode down just to see what the neighborhood was like. And his exact words were, I see these knuckleheads playing tackle football in the street. He said, I run a league across town. I think if you bring them out, sign them up, it'd be a great opportunity for them, and it could really help them. My uncle said, sir, we greatly appreciate it. He said, but we just don't have the money for anything like that. And my uncle pointed at me, and I'm standing right directly in front of the coach, and he said, his mother, she's working a double shift at Wendy's right now. She definitely doesn't have it. And the coach responds, and he said, I tell you what. He said, if you bring him to the park, he pointed at me. He said, you bring the other 3 as well. He pointed at my 3 younger cousins across the street. He said, if you bring them all to the park tomorrow, he said, I'll pay for it. And my uncle brought us to the park the next day, and I watched this man that I didn't know from Adam take cash out of his own pocket, and he paid for me and my 3 younger cousins to play ball. And in my family, the only people that went to college was me and my 3 younger cousins that he paid for in that street that day. But I wanted to understand, thank you. But I wanted to understand the man behind the action. And so one night he dropped me off at home, and I'll never forget 125 Warren Street, and I'm standing on the sidewalk in front of my house, and I had just got out of his truck, and I said, Coach, can I ask you a question? And I said, I don't want to be disrespectful. And he got out of his truck, he walked around, he said, what you got, Ink? I said, why do you do what you do? He said, son, I'm going to tell you something, and he said, I don't want you to ever forget it. He said, son, as long as you make sure that somebody else's life is okay, he said, God will always make sure that your life is okay. And he slipped me a note. And on the note was a quote by Og Mandino. And the quote read, beginning the day, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to die by midnight. He said, extend to them all the care, all the love, all the kindness, all the understanding that you can muster, and you do it with no reward. And he said, your life will never be the same. And he left. And the way I processed it was, son, as long as everything you're connected to and everything you approach, as long as you do it and you're not being selfish and you're being selfless, everything that you face on the journey to accomplish and whatever you set out to accomplish, if you could just wrap your perspective around the purpose that's involved in it, serves a lot greater purpose than just you will always be fine. And so at every phase of my life, when I hit opposition, my purpose was always greater than it until the night in Neyland Stadium on September 9th, 2006, I faced the darkest moment of my life and I wasn't prepared for it. And I will never forget, I went out in this game and I prepared the same way. I listened to the same music before every game. I would listen to Phil Collins. I could feel it in the air tonight. I listened to it. I'm rocking. I walk in the stadium. My teammates, they walking over. Man, you see that girl? And I would say, man, I just love the way the grass smells. And I get in the fourth quarter of this game with 2 minutes left, and the game is basically over against Air Force, and the quarterback drops back, and you got 2 minutes left in the game. The game is basically over unless you're playing against Peyton or Tom Brady, and you might be in trouble. And I go and I make contact on this guy, and as soon as I hit him, I knew something was wrong. I hit him, and it seemed as if every breath in my body left, and my body went completely limp, fall to the ground, I black out. Never happened to me before. Eyes open, teammates run over to me. Ink, get up, let's go, man, let's rock, let's finish him off. I said, I can't. They said, what do you mean you can't? You always get up. This your game, you're kamikaze. I said, but this time I can't. They said, get up, man. You could nurse your injury after the game. I said, no, you don't get it. There's a shock going from my neck to my toes. I can't feel anything. The shock eventually left. They put me on the spine board, wheeled me to the ambulance. My father's standing there. I said, Dad, I got him, right? I laid it on him, right? He said, yeah, son, but I think you got the worst part of this one. They get me over to the hospital. They say, Ink, we're going to run a couple tests, bring you back into your room, sure everything will be fine. And they bring me back into my room, and my mother comes in, and she kisses me, prays for me, and says, son, you'll be fine. It's a game of football. And before she could step out of the room, doctor came running from the opposite side, and the lead doctor says, guys, get in here. We got to rush this kid back to surgery. He's about to die. And I remember looking at him, and I wanted to ask him, man, you can't use another word? Like, die. Like, man. Like, use a synonym, brother. Like, die, a strong word, man. And he can tell how I'm looking at him that I'm questioning him. And he said, you ruptured an artery in your chest, you're bleeding internally. If we don't perform surgery right now, he said, young man, you won't be here in the morning. And the next morning I woke up, the game of football on my scale of life was that big. The SEC championship, that big. NFL, that big. I was embarrassed that the only thing I really wanted was a NFL, like that's it. Like the only thing I wanted was to get to the NFL because I grew up in a 2-bedroom home with 14 people. Because I grew up in this environment with poverty. The only thing I really wanted was to get to the NFL, get a contract, take care of my family, contribute in some phase of life. Like that's really the only thing that I wanted. Like I was in a steel mill a couple of weeks ago doing some corporate work, and I'm big on environment, I'm big on culture. Right, because I believe an environment will change an individual before an individual changes an environment. And so I walked in and I said, man, what's the culture here? Like, what's the environment? How do we get down? And the guy says to me, we come in, we make a little steel, we make a little money, and we go back home. And he looked at me and he said, is that a problem? I said, no, sir, it's not a problem. I have no problem with that. I said, but I do have one thing. We have two gentlemen in this same steel mill because we come in, we make a little steel, we make a little money, we go back home. That the first opportunity we got to take a shortcut, we took it, and a 15,000-pound nail fell out of the ceiling and it split a guy in half. And so now a son doesn't have a father and a wife doesn't have a husband because we come in, we make a little steel, we make a little money, and we go back home. Meaning we just go through the motions and think if we could just get this, if we could just get this position, if we could just get this corner office, if we could just get that. We come in, we make a little steel, we make a little money, we go back home. If I could just get to that point, everything will be fine and dandy. Then we get to that point and we still feel the void. What is it really about? Is it about something superficial and materialistic? Is it about a financial number? Is that it? Like it's crazy to me that we have a lot of people walking through life and they're efficient, true enough. They do things right, but they're not effective. They're not doing the right thing. Like I thought I was driven when I played sports, but man, when I got out of that hospital, my drive went to another level. There's a quote that says, when do a person start to really live? When a person has encountered death. I'd encountered death, but I survived it, and my perspective was totally different. I treat people different. Not that I treated people bad before, but my outlook, I believe perspective affects performance. How you view what you do will always affect how you do what you do. And I'm going to leave you with this because I got that Southern Baptist in me. I'll be up here rocking all night, right? Got that Southern Baptist in me. All right? But I'm going to leave you with this story. It was a story about two gentlemen in business. They did very well, very successful, crushed it. It got toward the latter years of their life and they became terminally ill. They put them in a facility basically to die, and in this facility every single day they had a common area to where they can come out, they can have fun, play games, crack jokes, eat food. And two of the gentlemen got really cool. And they asked one of the nurses, they said, hey, can you put us in the same room, me and my buddy, we hit it off. She said, sure. She put them in the same room, and so the way the room was set up, they had two beds, and one was to my right, your left, one was to my left, your right, but the guy's bed that was to my left and your right, it was by a window. So every day the nurse would bring them the same thing to eat, bring them some water, they would eat, they would drink, and every day the guy on the right side of the room, he would say to the guy on the left side, he would say, hey man, tell me, what do you see out that window? And the guy would lift himself up and he would say, man, I see a beautiful skyline. Say, man, I see beautiful children running, playing, beautiful couples walking, holding hands, beautiful flowers. And the buddy would say, man, thank you so much, man. Really helped me with my situation. One day, nurse came in, guy with the bed by the window had died. She was prepping him and she was rolling him out, and before she could get out of the door, buddy on the opposite side said, hey, nurse, can you do me a favor? She said, yeah, what is it? He said, whenever you put my guy wherever you got to put him, can you come back and will you please put my bed by that window? I want the opportunity to lift myself up and see what my guy used to tell me about. It really helped me with my situation. She said, sure. So 2 days later, she came back. She rolled his bed by the window, bought him something to eat, something to drink, ate his food, drank his water, got the strength. He lifted himself up. He looked out of that same window, and the only thing he saw was a big brick wall. He started yelling, screaming, nurse, nurse, can you come in here? Nurse came running. What is it? He said, you remember my guy, right? She said, of course. He said, he used to tell me about this beautiful skyline, beautiful children running, playing, beautiful couples, and it really helped me with my situation. Can we please get that whole wall removed? He wanted the whole wall down. And the nurse looked at him and she responded. She said, you didn't know? He said, no, ma'am, no what? She said, you really didn't know? He said, no, ma'am, no what? She said, he was blind. She said, he couldn't have seen that even if he wanted to. She said, you didn't know every day he did that because he knew it brought you joy. Every day he did it because he knew it brought you happiness. Every day he did it because he knew it brought you peace. He was about to die himself, but here you had a blind guy that lifted himself up, looked out of a window, and painted a picture that he couldn't even see because he knew it served as a blessing to someone else. And so as I leave you today, I have to pose this question. Why do you do what you do, and where is it taking you? Like, what's the GPS that's on the end of our decisions and our choices every single day with the things that we do and the things we're connected to, and ultimately what we represent? Because I think we all know when the buck stops and the rubber meets the road, life is about two things. It isn't about anything superficial, materialistic. It isn't about a financial number. It isn't about any of that. At the end of the day, it's about who we become, and it's about what we give. When the clock stops, every individual on the face of this planet should have something that they can point to and say, I was a part of that. Whether that's an individual, whether that's an organization, whether that's a family legacy, I was a part of that. Thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Inky. Very inspirational. It takes a lot of people to put on an event like this and to have it so successful. And we have a great board of directors for the Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame. We get the lights up. If you're a member of the board of directors, would you please stand where you are and remain standing for a moment? We also have members of our sponsorship committee, which is chaired by Rocky Good, who's right over there. Thank you, Rocky, for everything you do. Our ticket sales committee is headed by Doug Mooney, Johnny Johnson, and George Dinwiddie. They're all the co-chairs. We thank them very much. And also Jimmy Himes heads up our selection committee. If you're on the selection committee, we would like you to stand up right now. Let's thank all these folks for all the hard work they do year-round to get this Hall of Fame together. It is a work of love, and it helps all the kids, and we all love to do it. We also have a great list of state and national champions. Christian Coleman had a great year winning all the track championships, and all our local winners for high school teams. They're on the scroll as you go around the room tonight, so have a chance to look at those and think about those folks and all the great year they had winning their championships. Ice hockey also is currently one of the hottest sports around, especially in the state of Tennessee with the Predators now. But the Knoxville Ice Bears have been a power in recent years in the SPHL. The Ice Bears have a brand new coach this season, and he's been hard at work putting together his team that will start play in just a few weeks. So let's please give a warm Knoxville welcome to our new coach of the Knoxville Ice Bears, Jeff Carr. Jeff, stand so we can thank you. There he is. And Mike Murray, our general manager of the Ice Bears, is here as well, too. Mike, thanks. So the Ice Bears get cranked up here in October. Go see them at the Civic Coliseum. And now it's the highlight of the evening. It's time to induct the class of 2017 into the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame. Our first inductee is the pride of Newmarket, Tennessee, Todd Collins. Todd holds the rare distinction of having won a championship in high school, college, and in the NFL. He earned the honor of being Mr. Football in the state of Tennessee in 1987 as he led the Jefferson County Patriots to the AAA state championship. Todd was a Parade All-America first team selection. His number 89 was retired by the school. He played college football at Carson Newman. He was a two-time All-America there. He helped the Eagles to the 1988 NAIA National Championship. A third-round pick of the New England Patriots in the NFL, he played 6 seasons in New England. He started at linebacker in Super Bowl 31 with the Patriots. He finished his 8-year NFL career with the St. Louis Rams, winning Super Bowl 34 against the Titans. He returned home to East Tennessee after his playing days. He's heavily involved with the Boys and Girls Club of Dublin Valley, and for 17 years he's hosted a successful golf tournament to raise money for the clubs. One of the best football players to ever come out of East Tennessee, Todd Collins. Our next inductee, Rod Delmonico. Coach Delmonico arrived at Tennessee in 1990 after 5 years as one of the nation's top assistant coaches and recruiters at Florida State. 5 seasons of recruiting and rebuilding, he led Tennessee to just its second College World Series appearance in school history in 1995. In his 18 seasons at Tennessee, Coach Delmonico led the Vols to 9 40-win seasons, 2 50-win seasons, 2 SEC championships, 4 SEC Eastern Division championships, 3 SEC Eastern Division tournament championships. His teams advanced to the College World Series 3 times. Coach Delmonico was named SEC Coach of the Year in '94 and also in '95. He produced 10 first-round draft picks, 2 Olympians, R.A. Dickey and Augie Ojeda, the National Player of the Year in Todd Helton, and the Roger Clemens Award winner in pitcher Luke Hochaver. 3 SEC Players of the Year award winners, Todd Helton, Jeff Pickler, and Chris Burke. And in 2009, he managed the Netherlands national team in the World Baseball Classic. He is the winningest coach in Tennessee baseball history with 699, and he's also a proud papa as his son Nicky made his Major League Baseball debut Tuesday night with the Chicago White Sox. That ain't bad. Coach Rod Delmonico. James A. Haslam II. Jim was a star football player at St. Petersburg High School in Florida. He had plenty of offers to play football at several schools, but when Tennessee coach Robert Nealon arrived for a recruiting visit, Jim became a volunteer. He was a starter in the offensive line for 3 years. He played on the 1951 National Championship team, opening holes for the great Hank Loricella. He was the captain of the 1952 team. After he left Tennessee, he joined the Army as a second lieutenant. After his military duty, he returned to Tennessee he was offered a position to coach the South Pittsburgh high school football team. After pondering a life as a coach, he elected to take a position with Fleet Oil. In 1958, he formed his own company, buying his first filling station in Gate City, Virginia for $6,000. And that one station eventually turned into Pilot Flying J, one of the largest privately owned companies in the United States. Jim and the Haslam family have been so generous, investing in the community with major gifts to the University of Tennessee, the Boys and Girls Club, as well as countless other charities. He's always been a great and strong supporter of high school athletics, and he says that the lessons he learned playing football at Tennessee served him well with his life. Tonight we salute and congratulate Jim Haslam on his induction to the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame. Don Marsh. One of the top basketball players in the history of Alcoa High School. After a tough recruiting battle with other national powers like Old Dominion and Louisiana Tech, along with Georgia, Don decided to play her college basketball at Tennessee for Coach Pat Summit from 1984 through 88. Don helped bring a faster pace to Coach Summit's style of play. She still owns the school record for assists in her career, single season, and in a game. She had 18 assists against Georgia. Don also holds the distinction of scoring the first ever basket at Thompson Bowling Arena against Stetson. She was the point guard on the Lady Vols' first national championship team in '87. For the past 24 years, she's been a coach, teacher, and a collegiate basketball referee in Duluth, Georgia. In fact, she's got to get back to her softball team that's playing right now. She still comes back every summer to host her Marsh Madness basketball camp in Alcoa. Glad she's back tonight. We're going to the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame, Don Marsh. J.J. McCleskey. Don't tell J.J. he can't do something. Born and raised in Knoxville, he graduated from Carnes High School. Were you really 5'6" and 135 coming out of high school? That's okay, that's what it's 5'6", 135. His choices for college were few, but his dream was to play at the University of Tennessee. So he walked on the team in 1988. He was redshirted that first season, and then he began to make an impact. He played in the defensive backfield the first 2 years. He played on special teams. He had 11 tackles against Arkansas in the Cotton Bowl. His final 2 years at Tennessee, he played wide receiver and again was on special teams. He was a four-year letterman at Tennessee. He led the Vols to 2 SEC championships, 3 bowl games, and 38 victories. Then his choices in the NFL were limited some. He wasn't drafted, but he signed with the New Orleans Saints as a free agent in 1993. He played wide receiver and then defensive back with the Saints. After 2 years in New Orleans, he moved on to the Arizona Cardinals, playing defensive back for 6 seasons. After his playing career, J.J. moved back to New Orleans and has founded Mental Edge Sports, where he trains student athletes in all kinds of sports. His motto, you can't hide hard work. He has lived by that motto his whole life, and tonight we're proud to announce that J.J. McCleskey is being inducted into the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame. Rebecca O'Connor. Rebecca won her first bowling tournament, a Valentine mixed doubles event, when she was 7. Although she was really good, she gave up bowling to concentrate on other sports and activities. She picked up the sport of bowling 12 years ago and has become one of the most accomplished bowlers in Knoxville history. A 4-time Tennessee State Women's Bowling High Game Award winner. In 2011, she had the highest female average in the state, 229. Rebecca's bowled 7 perfect 300 games, and 2 of those back-to-back in Oak Ridge in 2012. She has earned 412 local championships, 4 straight Queens championships, and for the past 7 years, she was the Female Performer of the Year. This past year, she was inducted into the Strike and Spare Bowling Hall of Fame. Our congratulations to Rebecca O'Connor for her induction into the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame. George Quarles. In 1999, Maryville High School promoted a young assistant coach, a former wide receiver at Furman, to take over as its head coach. Nobody could have predicted the success George Quarles would have in Maryville. In 18 years, his Rebels won 11 state championships. They made it to the state championship game 15 times. Maryville won 10 or more games every single year under Coach Quarles. He was the fastest coach in the history of high school football to reach 200 wins. The Rebels had a nation's best 74-game winning streak. Coach Quarles was 250-16 as the Maryville head coach, winning 93% of his games. After a total of 22 years at Maryville High School, Coach Quarles now is returning to Furman, where he starred as a player. He was the leading receiver on Furman's 1988 national championship team. Wish him luck, but we're sure going to miss watching him coach at Maryville. But we congratulate him on his accomplishments there in coaching, and tonight, going into the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame, George Quarles. Kevin Swider. Kevin is the most prolific scorer in the history of the Knoxville Ice Bears in the Southern Professional Hockey League. He was a four-year letterman at Ferris State, graduating in 2001. He played a year in the United Hockey League. He was returning home to Michigan to find a job to use his computer science degree. He made one last phone call to Coach Tony Martino, who was putting together a new team here in Knoxville. Kevin came in for training camp, he made the team, and he's found a home here in Knoxville. He played 9 years for the Ice Bears. A 7-time SPHL All-Star, he was the MVP of the league 3 times. He led the Ice Bears to 3 SPHL playoff championships and 4 regular season titles. He's the all-time leading scorer at SPHL history, and the league in 2015 said the leading scorer each year now will receive the Kevin Swider Leading Scorer Award. In 2014, the Ice Bears retired as number 12, and it's hanging in the rafters right now at the Civic Coliseum. We're sure glad he found a home here to raise his family and play great hockey, and tonight, Kevin Swider goes in to the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame. Emmett Buck Vaughn. 36 years ago, Buck Vaughn had a dream to honor and celebrate sports in Knoxville. He also wanted to help the Boys and Girls Clubs, and the Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame was founded. Each year he's been the driving force behind the event. It's his passion. He doesn't take no for an answer very well, and it's hard to say no to Buck. An officer in the U.S. Army 82nd Airborne Paratrooper Division during the war, he returned home to work for the Emmett Vaughn Lumber Company. But he mixed his work with his love of sports. A member of the Knoxville Business Hall of Fame, he also chaired the committee to bring the U.S. Olympic trials to Knoxville and preseason NFL games to Neyland Stadium. He helped run the U.S. Golden Gloves tournament when it came to Knoxville, and he was one of the founders of the Knoxville Sports Corporation. An avid golfer, he actually won the state Pro-Am tournament at Dean Hill as he set a course record. He's accomplished a lot, but other than his wonderful family, I'm not sure anything brings him more joy than this night each and every year. Congratulations to Buck Vaughn, now a member of the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2017 of the Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame. And to speak on behalf of the inductees, George Quarles.
Thank you guys, and good evening. I do want to file a quick complaint. Having to follow Inky Johnson is not fair. Nobody does it better than Inky, no question. And I'm going to kind of piggyback or do what Shelly did. She looks a lot better in her glasses, but I'm going to put my glasses on too just so I can see a little bit better. You know, it's my honor to speak tonight on behalf of all the honorees. This has been an extremely proud and exciting night for us all. And it's been a whole lot of fun to see some people that I hadn't seen in a long time, whether they were from Jefferson County or wherever. And so it's been a lot of fun. The food's been great. And certainly want to thank the Greater Knoxville Sports Hall of Fame for hosting such a great event. Also want to thank the Boys and Girls Club for all the wonderful things they do every day for kids everywhere. I had the fortunate, I guess, honor to be a part of the Aaron Douglas Foundation, the AD Foundation, and had a great experience of getting to open up Aaron's room down in Lenore City at their Boys and Girls Club. And I know that's making a difference in lives every day. And let's give Carla, who is here tonight, Aaron's mom, a round of applause there. When I read the bios of this year's inductees, I was amazed by the talent level, the dedication, the success, and the leadership that's represented in this group. The 2017 class includes a Super Bowl champion. Of course, Todd Collins, he was also a high school All-American and a college All-American, played in 2 Super Bowls, won 1. This group also includes the University of Tennessee's winningest coach, Rod Delmonico, and also a proud father, I'm sure, after Tuesday night. This group also includes a member of UT's 1951 National Championship team, a mogul of industry, and a philanthropist. And I think Mr. Haslam made a good choice not going into coaching. We also have a visionary, Buck Vaughn, founder of the Hall of Fame back in 1984-85. We also have a perfectionist. We have Rebecca O'Connor, Knoxville's most accomplished female bowler, 7 300-game games. That's hard to say. But 11 state championships also. We also have an overachiever with talent, he told me to say. J.J. McCleskey, a former UT walk-on. He played both ways at UT in his 8-year NFL career. We also have a 3-time MVP. Kevin Swider, a hockey, has his number retired, one of the all-time greats for the Ice Bears, and what a year to be honoring, you know, a hockey player after what the Preds did this year. We also have the all-time assist leader at UT, Don Marsh, who happens to be a referee also. Like Shelley said, I don't really care for referees a whole lot. So, other than Rocky. Other than Rocky, yeah, that's good. So, but I'm still trying to figure out how I snuck on this list here, but what a great night. As Alex Haley once said, anytime you see a turtle up on top of a fence post, you know he had some help getting there. I definitely feel like that turtle tonight, as I'm sure some of my fellow inductees do. There were players, coaches, administrators, and family members who played a vital role in all of our successes, and they deserve to share in this recognition. We are only caretakers of this award for all who helped us get here. On behalf of the 2017 Hall of Fame class, I would like to thank the parents, brothers and sisters, spouses, children, friends, coaches, teachers, and mentors that helped us climb on top of our respective fence posts. To my fellow inductees, I would like to challenge us all to remember those that helped us along the way, and maybe more importantly, how they helped us so that we may help other athletes on their journeys to success. Once again, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee and the Boys and Girls Club for this special evening. God bless and have a great night.
One more time, let's congratulate the class of 2017. What a group. And again, the big winners tonight are the boys and girls that go to the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Greater Tennessee Valley. Tonight we're going to raise, we don't know what the exact figure is, but we're going to raise over $200,000. Thanks for you for being here tonight. So it's been a great night. Thanks so much for being here, and we will see you next year, and keep supporting the Boys and Girls Club. Have a good night.